We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew and Lee here from MiniWarGaming.com, down in the Fungeon. Finally, with an update for our epic 40k table build. So Lee went on vacation, and then he came back, and I dumped a bunch of Age of Sigmar models on his desk for him to paint. So it's my fault, and his fault. His fault for taking a vacation, of all things. Ugh, the nerve of these employees taking vacations. And my fault then for having other things. Yeah, I know, right? Having other things to do. But as you can see, progress has been made on the painting end of things, which we'll talk about in just a second. So this video is going to be base coating. Yeah. Or base coating, the base coat? I don't know. Something like that. That's our title. Take it or leave it. So, you've started painting, obviously. Walk us through what you've done, Lee.
I painted it.
Thanks for watching. Happy wargaming. No, all right. So, walk us through what you did, Lee.
Well, I don't know if you can actually tell on the camera, but this is actually texture paint.
Well, I will get nice and close, and you can hear that. Oh yeah, I hear that. Sorry. So you texture painted it.
Yeah.
More details.
I started by Mod Podging the whole table to seal it, and then
Mod Podge being
the sealer thing. I don't know what it is. It's just stuff.
It's like a glue.
Yeah, it's kind of like
slash...
PVA, but something else.
It's actually
put it in the comments.
The brand is called Mod Podge. Mod Podge.
Mod Podge.
Yeah, I know Mod Podge because because my wife would use it in her crafting as well. Yeah. So I'm familiar with it.
But it's really good to seal styrofoam and stuff, so you can just spray it without it melting.
Because what happens if you spray paint styrofoam?
It melts.
You already said that, didn't you?
It melts.
Yeah, it melts bad.
Yeah.
Like really, really bad.
Yeah, I can actually tell because I put Mod Podge down and then I spray painted everything black. And you could actually tell where the brush hadn't gone over thick enough.
Because it still managed to get through and melted a bit.
Melted just a smidge.
So then you use texture paint. So obviously you sprayed it. And what is textured paint? Let's assume people don't know anything here.
Texture paint is basically spray paint that has either flakes of stuff in it or sand. Some of it actually just has sand in it.
You can make your own texture paint too, just by mixing
sand.
A small amount of sand into your paint.
Well, it depends on how thick you want it.
I guess that's true.
Because if you want it to really show it, it basically has to be like plaster. So.
But this was actually a spray paint that was texture paint. Do you have any Mod Podge over there?
No.
Or a container?
It's all done.
It's all gone? You threw it out?
Yep.
Didn't think about the viewers, did you?
Well, we did an episode on
We did show it. We did show it in a previous episode. Yeah. That's right. So let's see it. Let's see it. We got accents, so it's actually a textured finish. Yep. You can see the pictures there meant for stonework. And texture paint.
So this actually is gray paint, but it has white and black flakes in it.
So that's all the white and black. Now I see brown on here as well.
Yeah, the brown is just a brown spray paint. I'm going to go over the whole table to give it like the illusion of dirt and sandstorms and stuff.
So right now we have a nice pristine tarmac look.
Yeah.
So what else are you going to do to it to finish it off?
Well, I'm thinking about, because we have these lines here where the plates connect, I'm thinking of extending them and doing like plates and putting cracks in.
So having it be like they're big blocks, and then show all the wear and tear.
I fabricated a block and just laid them down, and then over the years they've got cracked.
Hey, we were talking about this off camera that it needs to be broken up, but we weren't going for the whole. This is war torn, so it's not like craters, but tarmac and concrete. You don't have to have a war in order for it to look pretty bad.
I'm pretty sure there's never been a war in Welland, but
looks pretty bad.
East Main is just crap.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's still more work to be done on the ground. And of course, if you have suggestions, feel free to post them in the comments. Because, like I said before, Lee's been using a lot of your suggestions.
Or they might spark something in my brain that they might be like the catalyst for something that comes out. So.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's the bottom. What about the buildings? Tell us about the buildings.
They're green.
Can you be more specific?
No, what I did, I sprayed everything black. I just like to prime everything black, even if it's going to be white. I prime it black. And then I took some, what's it called? Because this is all done with
Army painter?
Army painter rattle cans. And this is Army green.
Now, I should point out that he took the chunks or the sections and he put
Yeah, I
it in
put
his
it
spray
actually-
booth,
the spray booth
and he
is
turned on. And
really coated right now.
yeah, exactly, because this stuff is toxic.
Yeah.
You should be doing it outdoors or in a very well ventilated space.
Yeah.
So this was the very well ventilated space. Enough. Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
Lee signed a paper that said, "I'm not responsible for any illnesses that his lungs get in a few weeks."
I haven't signed anything.
You weren't aware of it because you were high on the spray paint.
Probably. No, I could actually do like 3 or 4 pieces, but then I'd have to just leave them here and actually go outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, this the army green done over a black primer. So it can actually just if you angle it from above, you actually get the shades naturally. So
Meaning the spray paint, like you're
Yeah.
holding the spray paint from above.
yeah, like you see on the wall here, you actually get like shades underneath. This is all one color.
Now, there's also brown on there too.
There's brown on there too.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the shades in the green.
And then there's the brown. So how did you do that?
The brown is I don't know. It's leather brown, and I did that like from maybe 2 feet away. I just oversprayed everything. So instead of having it directional, I pretty much had it rain down on the model.
So this one is not brown
No, this
yet.
is just green.
So we can kind of see this is the before. This is the green from before. And then that
You
is...
put the brown on, and it actually helps you shade and muddy stuff up.
Remember, we're talking about base coat here, so there's still more details to
Oh,
be
yeah.
done. So, but this is like base coat meaning black, then green,
And then some brown.
and then some brown on top of that. So yeah, you can see the shading of the spray paint right there. So what made you choose green in the end?
I don't know. I decided because I had some. I took one piece, sprayed it, and I liked it. So I just wanted green. Green is.
And then
Because
obviously
I've been spending weeks thinking of what colors to have.
well, there's lots of options, right?
I know. But I didn't want it to have like, here's the blue building, here's the green building, here's the red building.
Yeah, you don't have Skittles board.
No.
But we do have some we just have some variety in the buildings. You decided to make your administratum buildings the red, which just follows the same kind of pattern, right? You can see the black. If you actually look, you can see that it was base coated black
Yeah, and
and
if
then
you like
oversprayed with red.
turn it like this, you can actually see where the red didn't catch the model.
Right. So you sprayed kind of on an angle down
Yeah.
to allow it to leave that shading there. It's a good cheat if you want to look at it that way. Not that techniques are cheats, but it allows you to achieve a 95% result of something that somebody else
You
would...
don't have to dry brush it or anything.
Right, as somebody else would take a lot longer to take. Now, mind you, there's always going to be... You're always giving something up to do that, but when you're painting this much stuff... It's interesting, actually, just as a side note. When I was at Warhammer World in their exhibition, I was taking pictures of everything, and we brought them back to look at. And as I looked at the pictures, I'm like, oh, there isn't as much detail in this stuff as I thought. And I realized that all the detail wasn't necessary to get that wow factor.
No.
That they didn't go nuts and have every last little line painted. But there was general techniques that they used to shade things and to make things contrast and pop.
Yeah, just like we were talking about just today. Like if I decide, okay, let's just take this building right here. If I decide that I want these 2 pieces to be silver, I have to multiply that by every single one on the table.
Otherwise it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
It doesn't match.
But then again, will it be too much? That's another thing I was thinking. Because you got 2 here, 2 here.
Well, as soon as you have that much, and if it looks too much, then what you have to do is more to make the too much okay. Because it doesn't make sense that half the building is highly detailed and the other half isn't. So do you have ideas yet at this point what you're going to do to finish it off? Or are you still kind of thinking about
I'm
that?
thinking about it. Because if we go to the gate, it actually looks pretty good. Because the statues are painted up like white marble. The statues are done. I'm not going to do anything else to them. And the aquila on the door is going to be the same white with green and black streaks in it. And that got me thinking maybe all the aquilas on the board should be white.
Like every single one in the bastions?
Yes.
Maybe like a bone faded white so that they're
Yeah.
not like super bright. And then?
And then that would actually make it pop. Yeah, the gate's going to be a lot of fun to paint. Because I'm putting the windows in. I'm still doing the lights. I'm actually putting lights in. And then the Aquila is going to be a white. I'm probably going to pick out some of this stuff in gold. And then there's going to be hazard stripes.
It's the yellow and black hazard stripes.
Down the bottom. So it's going to be pretty colorful. But it is like the centerpiece of the whole thing. So it's
important.
Yes. And then like the administrative building on the top, there's going to be a lot of gold in there. It's probably going to be more gold than it is red, actually.
And the thing about detail too is we still have to put miniatures on the table. Like we want it to look good without miniatures, but in the end, it's never really going to be seen without miniatures, except for a few shots that we'll take at the end. When it's in the battle report, you're going to have multicolored miniatures all over everything. Yep. So as much as yes, this ground needs to be finished because right now it doesn't look finished. As soon as you start putting miniatures on it,
and scattered terrain and all kinds
of wreck markers and all those other things. A lot of that detail is going to get covered anyways. Yep. And so where you see this big open gray thing, is as much as you'll pick out a few details on it. Once you load it up with miniatures, it's just a backdrop to the miniatures. In fact, I remember at Warhammer World that was their motto: is like the terrain is always a backdrop to the miniatures. Yep. Even though I like to think about the miniatures being just the playthings that you do on the awesome terrain that you build. Yeah. Because I think of it the opposite. I love terrain more than the miniatures. But, so a lot of that will get broken up once you put the miniatures on. But we still want it to look really good without them. So that's the key right there. What other details have you already thought of or not thought of?
Well, I haven't done anything to the train blade, which is not good because I really want to get that guy done.
You mean it's not finished being built yet?
No, I just did the bottom, the same thing we saw last time. But
still looking for inspiration, or just
yeah,
or just don't feel like doing it yet?
No, I'll get like middle of the night. I'll wake up and
you'll show up and then slap one on my table like, "There's the train blade."
Done.
Like, oh, jeez.
I'm going home to sleep.
And that's not a joke.
No, that has actually happened a couple
times. There's literally times where I'm like, "Oh, Luke, Lee, I have this idea for a miniature I want you to make for one of our campaigns, but it's not priority, so just let me say it to you." And then I leave, and then the next morning, all of a sudden, you like collapse in the office and like hold it up as you're lying on the ground, like, "Here you go, it's done."
I'm going home to sleep.
I'm going home to sleep now.
Yeah, it happens.
Because you just get these strokes of inspiration,
you can't
right?
Just turn it off, right?
Yeah.
Or turn it on. I mean.
You'll notice the way Lee works when it comes to this kind of project. There's the steps aren't all worked out ahead of time. It's very organic.
Make it up while I'm.
Which when you're doing it by yourself, that is totally doable. If you're working with a group,
then you have to.
Then you have to know.
Have like a whiteboard and like, okay, you take care of these things.
Yeah, because otherwise it won't match up in the end, and that would be a disaster. So we have a few extra pieces over here you're working on as well. You got the crane. The crane's going to be red. This thing you're still working on.
Yeah, I messed it up, but I'll do it again. It's the crane.
That'll help to accent it, having that a different color as well.
I'm actually going to take some acetone and clean the chains because they're really sprayed up, and they're not like. If you go further down, it actually.
Yeah, they're not painted.
But I think it'll be fine if I just do them in a silver. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So from back here, you can kind of get a better idea of how everything contrasts together. Because even once you put all the details in from a distance, this is mostly what you're going to be seeing.
And then these are going to be black.
The sides. Yeah. I think that's all there is to show.
Pretty much.
It's a lot of the same thing because it's base coating. And honestly, painting terrain, as much as I don't paint terrain, when I look at what Adam's done for us, what you've done for us, painting terrain it's a very broad stroke kind of process. It's very different than painting miniatures. Like, yes, of course, you could go and paint every last detail if you wanted to, and that could look really good if you do a good job with it. But for the most part, you can get away with large areas of sameness as long as you have just those enough contrasting colors and enough shading to do that. And you can the impressiveness comes from the scale rather than from the detail, is what we're looking at here.
Yeah, because again, it's supposed to be a backdrop.
Right. Now, we'd love your suggestions, your comments, your feedback, what you like. You even go as far as what you don't like. Just be nice. Because Lee's worked really hard on this. You don't want to hurt his feelings. And just be nice, because come on. Just because it's the internet doesn't mean that you need to be nasty.
Now everyone's going to be a jerk.
Yeah, right? Like, Lee, you did a wonderful job, you moron.
Yep. Thank you, Matthew.
And so, yeah, leave your comments below what you would like to see, because it's not too late. Nothing's final yet. And so if you give Lee a stroke of genius, and inspiration.
Start the whole project over again.
And then all of a sudden he's like, screw this! We're starting from the ground up!
See you another 3 months.
Or next week when I come back, everything's blue. You're like, I didn't like green anymore. I was looking at it for too long, and green just I got tired of it. But yeah, leave your comments below, because Lee definitely reads them, and so do I. And we'd love to take some of your suggestions. So, yeah, that's it.
We can't give credit, but
yeah, it's hard to, because there's so many different things as well.
This user name, whatever, give me the idea for this and that, and it's just no, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks, Lee, for having us in your Fungin again. Happy wargaming. Oh, and a big shout out goes out to Simon Marston for sending in this Ogren and Space Marine plane, Epic 40K. We had mentioned having somebody wants to build one to send it in, so we're going to be displaying this model on the Epic 40K table as these guys play Epic 40K. Thank you, Simon. I love it.